Minecraft, the ultimate survival sandbox experience, where you choose your own adventure. You can play as a simple farmer, or perhaps you would want to be a grand explorer who slays a dragon. It's boring, alright? Minecraft is boring. I've played the game since 2012 and done everything you can do in the game. I've played hardcore, I've even done some speedrunning. I still like the freedom I get from Minecraft, but I wish the game was more challenging. Maybe more hostile mobs would help. But with the speed that the game is being updated, it's clear to me that British will learn how to cook before Mojang adds another boss. I guess I'll have to take my business elsewhere. Which brings me to Muck. Muck combines elements from both survival and roguelike games, making it pretty unique despite being heavily inspired by Minecraft. In this game, when you die, it's game over. You have to start all over again. You could be so close to beating the game with more power-ups than you can count, and still get pretty much one-shot by any boss. I played this game since its release, but one thing I could never do was beat it on its hardest difficulty. Gamer. Hell, I only managed to beat it on easy mode, but Mama ain't raised no bitch, so it's time for me to put on my big boy pants and beat it on the gamer difficulty. The goal of the game is to fix this ship, escape Monk Island and defeat the final boss. After many trials and error, I've noticed that villages are a must-find when playing on this difficulty, at least for me. In the villages you'll find woodmen, and they only have two rules. Don't hurt them, and do not touch Chief's chest. Otherwise, you'll have to repeat that final Halo mission. Oh, you need iron golems to protect you?
Pathetic.
You can also trade with some of the woodmen, which is why you need to find a village. The trades you're looking for come from these beautiful gentlemen, and they are adamantite axe and adamantite pickaxe. Because for a measly price of 150 coins, you get to skip 4 tiers of axes and pickaxes, and acquire the best tools in the game, without spending 7 years mining for metals and gathering materials. Now that we're pretty much on the same page, I can tell you about my first successful run on the hardest difficulty. After a few dozen resets, I finally managed to get a decent seed. Actually, more than that. Not only did I spawn in a village, but ship was right next to it. At this point, you know the drill. Loot the village, find 2 woodmen that you need, and buy what you need from them. And when I tell you the seed was really good, I mean it. One of the huts had 15 gold bars and an anvil, right next to it. With anvil, you can turn gold bars into coins, which I did, and I had exactly 75 coins. I bought a pickaxe and then activated a shrine in order to beat 3 buffed mobs for coins. After that, I destroyed barrels in which woodmen stored their goodies, then proceed to successfully sell them their own stuff back. That got me to 76 coins, which I spent for an axe. It was still day 0 and I already had tools I needed to beat this game. After a successful trade, I thanked the woodman by making my European ancestors proud. Now, I haven't killed them for my personal enjoyment or anything sick like that. The reason I did is because I simply don't need them anymore, and it would be more beneficial for me to kill them for their coins. I climbed the ship for a map which marks all the guardians. The reason you have to defeat them is because they drop these gems that you need to repair the ship. Now don't ask me why a ship with sails needs an advanced engine powered by freaking infinity stones, because I don't know. Moving on, I went out to find Obamium, and lucky me, I found some pretty close by. But by that point, night fell down, and mobs started to spawn. Night went by pretty smoothly. I kept mining Obamium and killing goblins at the same time. On day 1, I felt Obamium in the furnace to smelt and went out. After some exploring, I found a cave. Now, caves have a chest inside of them, and inside that chest, there is 0.1% chance of those chests having a Nightblade in them, a legendary weapon with the highest DPS in the game, and in my opinion is the best weapon in the game. Well, maybe next time. At least I got some ruby I'll need for the ship. On day 3, I was preparing for the upcoming boss fight, and since I managed to craft a Bamium sword, which is the best non-legendary weapon in the game, I was feeling quite confident. I also noticed there was a Guardian statue nearby, and because I had extra time, I went and challenged the Yellow Guardian. which I managed to beat just in time and without taking any damage. Now, here's the weird thing. The boss should have spawned on A3, and it did. But it was invisible and it only kept spamming when attacked. I could only hear the boss, but I couldn't see it, nor hurt it. So, like with the voices in my head, I just ignored it. Anyway, I went and challenged the blue guardian. Now, this one wasn't as easy as the yellow one. I even almost died because so many mobs surrounded me, but I still came out victorious. I made my way to the pink and green guardian, but before I could fight them, I had to survive another night, which I did with relative ease. Pink one was the first of the two that went down, and the green followed soon after. That left me with only the red guardian remaining. Day 6 I spent preparing for materials I'll need to fix the ship, and these are all the materials if you're curious. Night 6 Chief spawned, in my opinion the lamest of the bosses. After defeating it, I spent the rest of the night and the entirety of day 7 fixing the ship, and on day 8 I finally left Muck Island. Now there was only one thing left to do: defeat the final boss of the game. Boom. And that's how I finally did it. I beat Mac on the gamer difficulty. Now, I have a confession to make. This is actually my second time beating on the hardest difficulty. I forgot to press record on the OBS, so you know what, that feels good to get off my chest. Anyway, now that I have solid 34 hours on the game, and over 50% of the achievements, I feel I can talk about both the positives as well as the negatives about the game. Probably the most important thing of all, both the idea and the execution are done incredibly well. And despite making me almost as mad as a League of Legends game, I can't say I had a bad time. It felt good when I learned something from my mistakes and improved. Game controls pretty well, and you can tell when someone is good at a game. I'm not much of an achievement hunter myself. However, max achievements are genuinely fun to collect, with the exception of these. I don't know what kind of a masochist you have to be to get those, but for those who did, all power to you. While my spoiled ass couldn't get used to not being able to shift-click to put on my armor, as well as stuff not being immediately in my hotbar, those are some minor nitpicks. Now what about the major things? I'm not sure if I'm just unlucky, but I've managed to come across a pretty good number of bugs in the game.
Hi.
Everything from invisible enemies to big chunks spawning while I was in the middle of fighting Bob. There's also this, where my friend and I saw different things with one of the bosses. Position of Chief on his screen and on mine were different, with me not being able to hurt the boss or it being able to hurt me. Though, not gonna lie, it was funny nonetheless. Building in survival feels kinda useless since anything you build will eventually be destroyed by the mobs, and I'm not talking about just the bosses. Yet it also doesn't feel good and creative because of the lack of materials to build with. Final boss either doesn't have music or it bugged out for me. Also, since the game hasn't received any updates for a year and a half, it kinda died out. Which makes me sad because the community is quite nice from what I've seen and experienced. I also wondered if the game has any mods, since I'm a huge fan of modding, and it does. Though small, I really like some of them. In my opinion, if Danny wants to revive the game, expanding the mod community would be quite easy and in my opinion one of the best solutions. Games like Minecraft and especially Skyrim and Fallout are known for their mods, and despite their age are still being talked about to this day. And that's mostly because the players refuse to let them die. And the modding part of the community keeps bringing new content to those players. If Danny were to decide to make a video hosting a mod competition or something like that, maybe that could bring back hype around the game. Make a new mob and the best one will be added to the game or something like that. That's probably the best way to do it without updating the game directly. And most likely the only way, since Danny stated he doesn't want to keep updating it, because it was never supposed to blow up like it did. In short, Mach is incredibly fun and challenging experience that I would recommend to everyone to try. Despite a lot of stuff having joke names, I don't think you should dislike it or not give it a try because you think it doesn't take itself seriously. The game is genuinely fun and completely free on Steam. I would give a game solid 8 out of 10.